Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Woodlands Marathon 2019. We're live from the finish line. This broadcast presented by Woodlands Online. We've got an exciting set of races going on today. The half marathon sponsored by Houston Methodist, the Woodlands, and the full marathon, and also a relay race today, Bryn. We've got live interviews that you're going to be doing with doctors, nutritionists, and of course the race finalists as they come across the line today. So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. It should be a fun day.
The track is a qualifier for the Boston Marathon.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, the first finisher today at 1 hour and 7 minutes is from Houston, and the second finisher is from Denver, Colorado. So we've got runners from 43 states and 10 countries today.
And it's really nice to have so much global attention here in the Woodlands.
I moved to the Woodlands in 1980. There were 8,000 people. This waterway behind us here, it's a creek. We used to four-wheel back in here with the kids, so
wow. It's
come a long way. The pavilion is the #1 outdoor venue in the whole United States, so a lot of great acts here.
All the cheering indicates a lot of action going on behind us, so there's certainly some runners out there today.
Yep, all great runners. All the races started at 7 today, and of course we're eagerly awaiting to see who the first woman finalist is going to be, and she should be coming across, I would think, at any time now. Usually they're just several minutes behind the men finishers, so that'll be exciting for us.
Yeah, it feels nice to get a good one back under my belt. It's been a little while, so it was a nice effort, nice event. The Woodlands folks always do a great job coordinating kind of for the elites and then also for kind of the rest of the pack. So it's really nice out there, well-run event, and that's what got me wanting to come back this year and try and knock out a good one. So.
How many rounds have you participated in?
I don't know. I did my first one when I was 19, still competing collegiately. And then I think 2 or 3 years ago I did the Woodlands. I'd done a few in between, but I gave up running for a couple years and then kind of came back about 5 years ago. But about 3 years ago, I think 2016, the Woodlands was my first one back, and I've been wanting to do it ever since. Just the timing never quite worked out right, but this year, fortunately, it did. So
it worked out right for you, indeed.
Yeah, for sure. So it was a nice day.
Yeah, everyone was excited to see you cross. That's an exciting moment. Hopefully it's filmed for you and you'll be able to see it.
For sure, yeah. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Vinny Sinisi here alongside Bryn Rader, live from the Woodlands Marathon. And I have with me, fortunately, because I get to interview all the girls, Kinsey Middleton from Boise, Idaho. And she said it's 8 o'clock in Boise, Idaho. A lot of you will get that. Tell me, 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yes.
Is that a record?
Not a personal record for me, but the humidity made it a little tough out there today.
When did you get to town?
Last night.
Last night.
Business trip. Yeah.
And did you? Oh, nice. So, are you staying here in the Woodlands?
Yeah, I'm right in the West End, so like a walk from
Very
here.
nice. Don't tell people that, because
Okay.
you know they'll come over there and want to get your autograph and everything. I already got it. So, what's your personal best?
My personal best is 1:12:30
Wow. Where'd you do that?
at the Houston half last year in January.
Very nice. I ran the half marathon 7 years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, 2 hours, 25 minutes.
Awesome.
And then I retired because I had to have my third spinal fusion.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
But it was good. It was a goal.
Yeah.
Right? And what was your goal today?
My goal was definitely to come out and just give a hard effort. It was my first race of the season, and so I just wanted to see where I'm at. And now after this, I'm going to do some shorter 10K work.
Nice.
So this is the
And
long.
how many miles you putting in a week?
A week? About 100.
In Boise.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it tough running in the cold? I mean,
We actually have had a pretty bad February, I'll be
Yeah.
honest. It's been way more snow than we've gotten the rest of the year.
I grew up in Rochester, New York.
Oh,
And I used to
okay.
run a little bit.
Yeah.
For like a minute. And then I said, okay, no more running.
It's really
I'm going to
cold
be a
there.
basketball player. And then I was too short, so became a baseball player. Right?
That's awesome, yeah. Gotta find what works for you.
So are you here with your family? Business trip, you said?
I just came solo. I knew I wanted to add this race to my calendar, and so I just made it happen, and I came down yesterday and I leave today, so it's a very quick trip.
So you're leaving today
Yeah,
too. Good.
yeah.
Have you gotten a chance to visit anything in the Woodlands or anything? Or?
I got to explore. I had an 8-mile run yesterday, so I got to explore a bit of it yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're just a freak, aren't you?
I am.
You know what? To run a half marathon and a marathon, to run it all.
Yeah.
And do it, well, that's like 5-minute miles.
I think like in the 5-minute range. Yeah.
I can't even
like
drive
5.
that fast. I mean, it's crazy. Especially in Boise when it's snowing.
I know, right?
Kinsey Middleton, folks, the winner of this year's half marathon from Boise, Idaho. Can they reach you anywhere online? Can they do a shout out or
You
something
can
like that?
Follow me on Instagram at Kinsey Middleton. And yeah, that's the.
I'm going to start doing that.
Yes,
awesome.
do it.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. 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 You cashed in on my promises.
So we are back and now joined by Dr. Mark LeBay. Dr. Mark LeBay is an orthopedic surgeon at the Houston Methodist Woodlands Hospital and also chief of surgery.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
We're happy that you're here. We know this isn't your first marathon that you're attending. When runners are preparing for such a big race, half marathon or marathon like this one, how important is strength training?
Strength training is really everything. I mean, the muscles are really the shock absorbers of your body. So when you're running and you're taking step after step after step, you don't want all of that stress to go right through your joints and your bones. You want the muscles to absorb that shock and distribute it throughout the muscle belly. And so having stronger muscles, having more flexible muscles allows for that better shock absorptions. And if you look at the top end athletes, triathletes, marathoners, a strength program that you're doing regularly throughout your training program is paramount to achieving success and avoiding injury. As you run, you know, the muscles fatigue. And so the better they can tolerate that fatigue, the more they can stave off that stress from the joints. Routinely in my practice, I see people that are training and they're only running. They're not strength training. And so when patients do that of mine, it never fails. It always seems to be around mile 18 is when things kind of start to break down. But if you maintain that strength program and you do it throughout your training, then you can run a good race, and that's when you make your PRs.
Wonderful. Thank you for that advice. So what are some best practices that you can use for strength training and running?
So actually you want to do the strength training, or you want to start the strength training really even before you start running. You want to have a good foundation in strength and flexibility before you get off the couch and start the training. So you want to do 3 days a week of strength training. You want to focus on your legs, your core, your low back, and then stretching is an everyday exercise. So a couple days of strength training, and then obviously your 3 to 5 days of running, depending on the program that you're doing, and stretching every one of those days. Even on your days off, you can stretch.
Stretching and strength, both
That's
very
right.
important. Well, we know running can be hard on the hips and the knees. So are there any precautions that people can take to avoid injury?
So the other thing that I see, other than runners not necessarily strength training like they should, it's not paying attention to their shoes. The shoe wear is a huge part of it. You know, we talk again about the body feeling that stress every footfall that you run. And so the shoes are the first thing that are hitting the ground. And so those shoes get flat after about 200 to 50, 300 miles. And so you may have a lot of good looking tennis shoes that you really can't run in anymore. So I recommend cycling your shoes, making sure you keep track of how many miles are on the shoes. So for me, I have a pair of shoes I run in. Then when those shoes are done, those are the shoes I walk around and maybe work out in, and you cycle through. And then there's a lot of good programs out there that even recycle shoes, so that way you're not, they're not going in the trash and going to waste.
Thank you for sharing those tips. It'll be much appreciated for the runners who are going to continue for next year.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight.
Well, we are joined once again by another doctor from Houston Methodist, the Woodlands. Today we have Dr. Christian Shoup. Thank you for being here. Christian Shoup is a primary care sports medicine physician at Houston Methodist Willowbrook Hospital. And you're also the medical director for the Houston Methodist, the Woodlands Half Marathon. So tell us a little bit about the partnership that is between Houston Methodist and the Woodlands Marathon and Half Marathon.
Well, they've been partners, I think, now for over 4 years, and it's been a great partnership. Basically, they provide all the medical coverage here for the marathon and half marathon, as well as last week we did the 5K and 2K coverage, and it's been a great partnership. We provide for any injury that comes in, even for all the volunteers, for everybody that's watching, basically anything that comes through, from heat injuries to sprains to, we just had an ankle injury come in. We take care of anything and everything. So we're here to make the race experience be excellent for everybody.
So what kind of preparation goes into the responsibility that you're having then?
So basically, meetings start in December, and we start planning for this. I've been here, I guess, since it started back about 8-9 years ago. I've been the medical director, so it runs pretty smoothly now. But we get together, have about 4 or 5 meetings to come together, get all our volunteer teams together, get all the medical supplies, get our groups, find out where we're going to have each individual teams, where the ambulance is going to be, where all of our medical ATVs are going to be, where even out here in Tom Green, where everything's going to be set up, basically so we have the safest race possible.
It is a lot of preparation.
Yes.
For sure. So what are some of the medical conditions that you will typically see in the tent or out here on the course?
So the biggest or the dangerous most medical conditions are dehydration, low sodium, and also heat. Not today, thankfully, it's pretty cool, but the weather in Houston's always changing.
Right.
And I think this week we had 70, now it's 50s, 60s. So every year it's different. So whatever the medical conditions, weather and medical conditions kind of change, that's what we have to be prepared for. So we have to be prepared for if it's going to be cold, if it's going to be hot. That's basically, weather is our biggest enemy.
Ready for anything.
Yeah, exactly. Be prepared for whatever and anything. Yeah.
Okay. So how will today's weather factor into the illnesses and injuries we'll see, since it is a little bit chilly, it's really high humidity?
Yeah, so the humidity is an issue because when you run in humidity, you don't evaporate, and so heat can still be an issue. So believe it or not, despite the weather being that hot, if you have less heat but more humidity, you still can get heat issues because you don't evaporate, you don't sweat as much. And so that's still our number one worry. I think the most severe injuries I've ever seen here are heat. So we're prepared when the patients come in and have any issues, we cool them down quickly, but even before they're sent to an ambulance or sent to a hospital. The goal for us as medical professionals, medical team here, is we want to treat them here so they don't have to go to the hospital. We feel very comfortable and confident to take care of that. And if for some reason they do need a hospital or do need something more than we can give, we're prepared to send them. But our goal is to have a safe event and treat them here and then let them go home.
Better for everybody that way.
Absolutely.
One more question for you is, what should runners keep in mind as they are starting this race or any race?
So the biggest thing, all the injuries we typically see, or probably the biggest complications, are not being prepared. I gave a talk earlier this week about running with injuries, and everything is done. The mantra is too much, too soon, too fast. So my only mistake when I try to run a marathon is I didn't prepare. So it's when they go and they don't really do enough training. Preparation is the key. So if this is your first time running an event, you're going to probably run into problems. So you have to train. You can't just wake up one day and go, I'm going to run a marathon today. Or if you do, you're not going to be able to finish, or you're going to get injured. So it's about preparation. It's finding a group. It's finding a running partner. It's finding someone that's done it before. And then also finding out, how do you, when you run, when you get thirsty, when you need water, when you need salt, when you need a break, you have to find all that. You don't just find it on a race day. You have to really work through that. And so if the first day you ran 26 miles is today, it's not going to really work out very well. So, or 13 miles. So you really have to train for that. And if you don't, typically you're going to have a problem.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for helping the runners. We really appreciate all that you're doing.
No, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move.
close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Oh, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down. All around this empty town, we're searching for the lost and found. But you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air, like a blazing flare. Just stare, 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. You meant the world to me. You meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near, in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares too. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me.
And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you. How long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you.
Hey everybody, right back here at WoodlandsOnline.com and the Houston the Woodlands Marathon. Sorry about that. I'm Vinny Sinisi alongside Bryn Rader, and we have been raiding the stage all morning with the people coming across. Drew and Kinsey, the men and women's finishers. Bryn, people from all over the country, 43 states, 10 countries. It's been quite a blast so far, don't you think?
It has been really fun, and this is a very busy event. You can see that they're well supported by all of the spectators here to cheer them on at the end. One thing I think is really neat is there's a cheer zone competition. Did you hear about
Cheer
the cheer
zone?
zone? Yes.
I should be in that.
Well, you have to have a group of 15 people and a theme, but they actually vote as the racers go through. They pay attention and what's their favorite cheer zone, and they'll be voting.
Really?
It's pretty
Do they
neat.
do like pyramids, or so there's cheer zones along the race? Oh, wow.
Well, I'm not a runner, but that's
You're not a
what I
runner?
hear.
I'm
At
not
least
either.
Not today.
I've given up running. My form of exercise is yawning.
I don't know. Maybe next year we should do a half marathon.
I already got challenged by Robert, one of our cameramen, said we should do this next year. I said, okay.
Okay.
That's how I
You
did
gonna
my.
hold me to it?
The last time I did it 7 years ago, that's what my neighbor said. Let's run a half marathon. I said, why? It'll be fun. I said, I'm into fun. So.
Fun is good. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah, and we'll have to check with Dr. Alicia Robichaud because she's going to talk to us about getting set up with the primary care physical before we get started. So
Well, the Robichauds have been around forever, and of course, her husband's a great friend of mine. I actually coached him in baseball 40 years ago. Okay, 40. That's how long I've been in the Woodlands. Hey, want to thank Willie Folks. He's the Woodlands Marathon race director, and just doing a great job. This is really a big event for the Woodlands and the Woodlands and the Woodlands. The Woodlands just keeps going on and on and on. I said earlier, I moved here in 1980. There were 8,000 people. There's 5,700 people running in the race.
Sure are. And it's really impacting the entire community, so everyone gets behind it because our roads are closed. The marathon is taking over.
I can't even get to my office today because the marathon goes right past it. And I said, good, I don't have to sell any houses today.
Well, it's one way to get a day off.
Yeah, sure. So, what else have we got to tell you? We're going to have the marathon winner. Let's see. We're at 146. He'll probably be coming across within the next 30 minutes.
Well, we could be shocked. It could be a she that comes across within the next 30 minutes.
It's not going to be a she.
I won't argue.
She'll be here about 2:20 probably, which is fine. 2:20, I can't drive 26 miles in 2:20, so.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that I know I would take advantage of next year, and I think many runners do take advantage of, is the pacing teams. So it's pretty cool that they provide that here for both the half marathon and the full marathon, or the pacers, so that people can use that as a tool to keep track of their pace and know where they are, because it can be easy to kind of get lost in that.
They have a relay race too, right?
There is. There's a 2-person and a 4-person relay.
2 and 4.
Yep.
Because I saw some of the kids coming across like a 4-man team. Is that for the half marathon too, or don't you know?
I don't.
Well, the marathon favorite is 28-year-old Kenyan Enoch Mirror, who won last September's IMT Des Moines Marathon in 2:23:39.
Wow.
And has also recorded 7th and 3rd place finishes in Philadelphia and Birmingham in November and February, last month. So this is a professional runner, okay? Like, we're professional, good-looking people. They're professional runners.
I don't think that's a good comparison for them, Vinny.
Oh, we're not coming in first? Is that what you're saying?
So that is pretty neat that we'll be able to see somebody that famous. They take it serious because this track really is, as we mentioned, one of the fastest. So people do utilize this to do their personal best right here in the Woodlands.
Absolutely. The women's overall champion for 2017 was Melissa Hopper. She's 41 years old, lives in Cypress, Texas, which is, 15 miles down the road. She's returning for her 5th consecutive appearance here at the Woodlands Marathon. And Bel Air's Jackie Tobin, 39 years old, will be competing for her first marathon since finishing 2 spots behind Melissa Harper a couple of years ago. So that's going to be a battle.
Sure will.
I wonder what her time was. That would be interesting because Enoch is at 2:23. I bet he finishes faster today.
You sure might. With the cooler weather, I think it's helpful, although with the high humidity, that can be tricky. But in order to beat the race record bonus, the female record was for the full marathon and set in 1982 by Mitty Hamrin. And that was 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 28 seconds. So we'll see if anybody can take her.
2:34. You know what? Maybe the woman will beat the man today because Enoch is a 2:23. That's only 12 minutes off.
You never
only
know.
12 minutes on 26
Big
miles.
deal here, isn't it? And then for the male, the record was actually set in 2012, and that was by Jeffrey Eggleston, and that was 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 48 seconds.
So 2:15 is 25 minutes away. Hey, stay with us. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back with you. I got to get warmed up a little bit.
That's true. I need some hot cocoa or something.
Back right here at the Woodlands Marathon, ladies and gentlemen. Vinny Sinisi. I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing my good friend Alicia Robichaux. Robichaux, right?
Robichaux.
AU. Go Tigers, is that?
Absolutely, go Tigers,
LSU?
yes, LSU.
She is the primary care sports medicine physician at Houston Methodist at the Woodlands. So we've known each other a long time. Family's been in the Woodlands long time.
Yes.
Can I put a plug in for the jewelry store?
You can, you can.
Robichaux Jewelry, 2 locations.
Yes, one in Panther Creek and one over on 99. John and Matt Robichaux and the families have been taking care of people for years.
That's enough of
Oh, man. All right, yeah. That's
all right, no, go see them. Great jewelry. I buy my wife jewelry there all the time. All right, so we're going to talk about sports medicine.
Sure.
Okay. All right, I got a couple really great questions. Why is it important for a person to see a primary care doctor prior to training for a big run?
You know, people come into marathons with all different weight conditions, and people look to try and do these things. So knowing what your health benefits and risks are before you start a 13 or 26 mile race is really important to know where your heart is, where your brain is, where your legs are, you know, if you've got injuries, if there are risks. But most everybody does really well, and we say go for it. But progression is important. We want to know that you're going to survive this training and not just do it, but do it well.
And survive the race day.
Absolutely.
I got challenged by my neighbor 8 years ago to do the Houston half marathon. I said, why? He said, it'll be fun. I said, okay, I'll do it.
Running's never fun.
We trained and we ran every day, and I was just getting killed. I was breaking down.
It's hard.
And a friend of mine that is a trainer, trained the Minnesota Vikings for 17 years, said, you got to do resistance training. You got to keep your muscles strong.
Absolutely.
too, not just running. Is that true?
It's a combination of weights and cardio. It's a combination of stretching. It's a combination of hydration and food preparation. It's not just running. It's a big training plan, and it's got to have all the factors to make sure we get everything done that makes you successful.
So you believe that someone should go get a sports physical, right?
Yeah.
And what's involved in that? What do they got to do?
Sports physicals can be anything from a teenage evaluation, knowing what the risk factors are on genetics as well as heart history and other things, but then it can be as basic as getting an EKG or basic as getting a stress test. It depends on the age of the athlete and what they've done before. So a novice is going to have a different physical than someone who's been doing this, you know, some of my elites that run these 10 to 12 times a year. You know, so we just want to make sure you're safe before you go for your run, before you go for your training, before you train in the heat, and those are all big factors.
What really amazes me, Doc, is the body types that come across that finish line. There's tall, short, overweight a little bit, it looks like, in great shape.
Absolutely.
And,
running is for just about everybody as long as your legs can handle it. So you don't have to be skinny or muscular to run. You can start running at any age, at any size, and some is better than none. So just go. Just start. Start as a 5K, start as a 10K, work your way to a half or a full marathon, and those things can be really great. So your fitness levels improve as you get more into running.
So you don't have to be great to get started.
Absolutely.
You just got to get started to be great. Okay, great. What are the health benefits to a regular running program?
Running regimen. You know, health benefits of running can be anything from just getting good vitamin D outside, having exposure outside, to improving your lung capacity, improving your cardiovascular endurance. We want to make sure that you're breathing well. Asthmatics usually we have better lung functioning. Your legs and your muscles, your recovery is better. You have a lower heart rest rate. So running itself, as well as just training to be more fit in a running type environment, can be very beneficial for your health. And again, the stretching and a lot of the other things that keep your legs strong and balanced keeps you running for longer.
You know, we talked a lot. I coached summer baseball for 32 years, and the last 14 years was with 17-year-olds, and of course, they're bulletproof, right? And we always talked about hydration because, you know, we coach June, July, August, the hottest months of the year around here, and they don't know they're getting hydrated. We actually had a boy that went down, and we had to take him to the hospital because he dehydrated so bad. So tell us about the importance of when to hydrate.
Absolutely. And in this area, we're talking about running today, but for the most part, athletics in the Houston, Texas area is really a big deal because it is hot year round. We're blessed with a great race day today that is cooler, but my football players have to plan for their runs. They have to plan for exercising in the heat in pads. Running outside in 90-degree weather takes a lot of preventative hydration. So you want to hydrate the day before you run. You want to make sure you're getting plenty of electrolytes and plenty of water. You watch your urine. But the biggest thing is that you listen to your body. So on race day, you don't exactly go and drink every race stop that you possibly can. You got to hydrate enough beforehand, but drink as your body needs it. So if you're thirsty, you need it. If you wait till you're thirsty, you're behind. But you don't change anything on race day. Hydration plans are an issue, and precision hydration is is helping to sponsor this race and does a really good job on helping to teach you how to hydrate and special formulas of certain things for electrolytes and water. It's not just about throwing water down. It's hydrating as a body.
So it's really about listening to your body.
Absolutely.
Right? And even if maybe you're not thirsty,
Sometimes
take
you
a
still
couple
got to get a
sips.
few sips. I didn't say drink a gallon. I said a few sips.
Now, you can actually overhydrate,
You
right?
can. Hyponatremia is one of the biggest things we look at in the medical tent. Overhydrating and the sodium falls down, and that can be very dangerous. So we want to have a nice, good balance, which is part of the process of the training itself, is learning how your body's going to do in the heat, learning how your body's working. And you got to develop a system of what's going to work best for you.
Yeah, I read stories sometimes about women mostly that overhydrate.
Yes,
yeah, so it's important.
Absolutely.
And then what about after the race? I mean, you might not feel like you need water, but
Absolutely. You know, we always hand everybody water. There's other hydration options like electrolyte formulas. Precision hydration is here on the course. Gatorade, Powerade. Chocolate milk's a big one. They always talk about drinking chocolate milk after a race because it gets your hydration in quickly. So we definitely have to learn what's best to get your body back to feeling normal. Beer is served, but not always the best hydrator afterwards.
beer is always good anytime. Don't listen to her. Okay, my question is, what about, it used to be carbing up. That used to be the big thing 30 years ago. Do you carb the night before?
You know, a lot of people carb several days before, so if you're doing a 26 mile, you really make sure that your carbohydrate basis is strong. Pasta, but it's not bad carbs, it's healthy carbs, and it's usually done over a couple days. I had an athletic coach who basically told me, don't do pasta, do orange juice. And orange juice has the same carbs as the pasta does, but it doesn't sit so heavy, so that's really important. You know, pick your ways of your carbs.
Yeah, and the professionals here, they know, they've done this several times.
This is old hat.
It's like being a doctor. You've done it a million times. You know what to expect.
Just show up for the gig.
Yeah. So Dr. Alicia Robichaux, she's the primary care sports medicine physician at Houston Methodist, the Woodlands. How do they get in touch with you?
They can call our front desk, 936-321-8000. We've got 6 orthopedic doctors that are fabulous, as well as me, and hopefully I'm going to have a nice partner coming in soon to help with concussions and running and eating disorders and everything else. So we're available for you.
Well, we appreciate you being with us, Doc.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. I get to interview all the pretty people. So.
There you go.
All right, stay with us. They're coming across in swarms now, and
it's fast.
Probably have the winner here in the next 15 minutes, I would
Absolutely.
think.
Stick
Stay
around.
with us.
Your heart is so thick.
say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Maybe, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill.
Never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. Going with the gut, never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet, hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up, you can have it all. Watch me rip it off, I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella love. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging, we going come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. It feels right.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Vinny Sinisi here alongside Bryn Rader, live from the Woodlands Marathon this morning, March 2nd. Wow, they're coming across in droves right now, as you can see behind us, and we expect the winner of the marathon to be hitting that finish line pretty soon. We've only had one person go down at the finish line, Bryn, so...
It's pretty good. It is getting very busy, very loud. I feel bad for the announcer. They have to talk like an auctioneer to announce all these names, just one after the other.
All the numbers you have to say when they come across, you stop doing that when they start these names. And now he'll probably go to just first names pretty soon. So, hey, you know, there's like 5,700 people running today, and 10% of them will actually qualify for the Boston Marathon. How about that? That's 570 people.
It's a great race to qualify.
So I want to mention Camille Herron. She finished second in the Chevron Houston Marathon in January, and Melissa Hopper, the overall champion that we mentioned earlier, was third at the marathon, and Heidi Bach came at 2:57 in the marathon. Less than 3 hours to run 26.2 miles. You can't even drive around Houston sometimes in that short a time with the traffic.
Absolutely
3 hours?
Not. But of course they've had the traffic cleared. The only traffic they have to deal with is all of these runners. And we know that the original distance of the 26 miles, you remember the history behind that? That was when Pheidippides, the Greek messenger, ran from Marathon, Greece to Athens a long time ago to declare a victory message. But what they don't always tell you is that Pheidippides forgot to train. So he keeled over and died when he finished his marathon. But today with the Houston Methodist Hospital and all the medical crews, of course, we're not going to have that.
I tell you what, there's a lot of support here. Thousands of volunteers, not hundreds, thousands of volunteers. The medical staff behind us here, see all these people in the red shirts behind. Those are all the people that are here to assist anybody that might suffer from dehydration or a pulled muscle or just exhaustion. I mean, these people are trying to beat their personal best. You'll see them coming across a finish line going, yeah, I won, or darn, I wish I'd done better. And I'm thinking, just to finish, you got to be raising your hands and going, yay, I finished, right?
Very much. It should be about a competition for yourself. Personal.
What's the biggest sports event that you've ever completed that you're most proud of?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person for that.
Well, you had babies, right?
I wouldn't call that a sport.
How long were you in labor?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. That's a marathon, trust me.
I don't know. Right now, I'm running my own marathon. It's called How Long Can I Go on 3 Hours of Sleep and 1 Cup of Coffee.
Oh, wow. You had coffee today?
One.
I got here, no coffee.
You're impressing me.
So can you imagine this?
You're beating me here
right?
at this marathon.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. Still waiting for the winner. 2:17 right now. 2 hours and 17 minutes. We should be getting a winner pretty soon, shouldn't we, everybody?
I should hope so.
Yep.
You might even break some records if it happens really soon.
What's the record on this course? 2:15?
For the male full marathon, it is 2:15:48.
Yeah, so just under 2 hours and 16 minutes. Jeffrey Eggleston in 2012. You know, it's pretty good conditions today. Runners like it cool. The hard part is the humidity.
Absolutely. They said that can actually cause more injury than many other things is the heat from the humidity.
Yeah.
And dehydration, as you mentioned, is important. So along the way, of course, there's water stations and gel stop stations. The water stations, they gave very specific instructions to the runners to do precision hydration followed by water in that order. Precision hydration is hypotonic electrolyte supplementation. And you know what they say about hypotonic electrolyte supplementation, don't you?
Oh yes, I did my thesis on it.
Well, I don't, so you can share.
Look, here's the deal. Like Dr. Robichaud said, drink a lot of water, prepare for the race. The professionals, the people that do this every week, every month, 12 times a year, whatever, they know how to treat their bodies. People that just say, oh, I'm going to run a marathon or run a half marathon, those are the people that face a little bit more risk because they're not used to putting their body through that stress. So it's really important. What's really been great is we're probably halfway through, right? We've had absolutely at least probably a couple thousand people come across already, and we've only had one person go down at the finish line, and I think his legs gave out or he pulled a hamstring or something, but he was immediately attended to by our medical staff here. So I want to say a little bit about the Woodlands Marathon management, if I could. The management team is an event production company that operates with a primary goal of providing individuals the opportunity to participate in a running event that promotes the advancement of running. So running, and running. The directors of the Woodlands Marathon Management share a passion for the Woodlands community. Great place to live, work, play, shop, raise your kids. 3 of the top 10 schools in the nation are in the Woodlands. They have teamed up to produce this premier event that will provide the Woodlands and surrounding communities options for living a healthy lifestyle with a purpose. And I know when George Mitchell started this little baby, this little dream of his, it was all about community and raising a community that would be family friendly and user friendly, which is a word now that we use for apps and computers, right? I mean, you're doing the Woodlands Online gig, right? It's got to be user friendly for all the stuff you do. What do you do there?
They call me the content director.
Contest director. Did I win?
Well, I do wear many hats there, I suppose. It's a small company, but we certainly love to support our
So
community.
who do we have on the horizon that you're going to interview? A couple more doctors?
Well, the next one on schedule is a nutritionist. Because we know, of course, with all of the calories consumed, we have to talk about what to put back in that body and recharge.
Very cool. We're going to take a break, wait for the winner of the marathon to come across. We'll interview them, and we'll be right back with you. Stay with us.
Joined now by Kim Lowry. Kim is a registered dietitian for Houston Methodist, the Woodlands Employee Wellness Program. You're a competitive runner with a marathon personal record of 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 47 seconds. But she's also run today in the half marathon. And yet, look at her energy. So this is wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Of course, diet is a big subject right now because these runners have just consumed a lot of calories. So what is the best recovery food for them right after the race?
So right after a half marathon, you're going to want to replenish. Definitely replenish your calories. Most importantly, get something that's going to have carbs and protein. The muscle is made up of glycogen, which is fueled by your carbs, and as well as protein. So some good recovery foods would be chocolate milk, peanut butter and jelly is another good one. Breakfast tacos, that's a good time for those. The egg and then the tortilla will give you your carbs there. So those are some 3 really good ones that you can get in right after the race.
I don't think too many people would object to those, so
yeah.
Very good. Well, is there anything you recommend following the race to prevent with that muscle soreness that's to be expected?
So to combat muscle soreness, tart cherry juice is actually really good in terms of combating that soreness, helps with inflammation. So having about 8 to 12 ounces of that the day of your race, probably a couple hours after, will help with that soreness with the days to come.
Okay, tart cherry juice. Yeah. Very good. So should a runner really do anything different with their diet for the week following the race?
So the week following the race, you're going to want to continue to replenish those calories, probably up your calorie intake about 25% than what you normally would have, because you're going to have burn during a race. You'll burn anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 calories.
Wow.
So you're on your feet for a long time, especially those doing that full marathon. So your body's going to be behind. You're going to want to be, again, replenishing with enough carbs and protein.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly a time of celebration as they cross the finish line. And so people go into celebration mode and maybe think about a victory beer. Is that really going to help a recovery?
So in terms of your actual physical recovery, unfortunately, victory beer is not going to do much for you. My recommendation, though, because finishing a half marathon and marathon is a huge accomplishment, you do want to celebrate. So get yourself hydrated with some water, have a good source of carb protein, maybe some chocolate milk, refuel with a nice meal. then have your recovery meal and beer and celebrate.
A little bit later. Okay, thank you for joining us. We're going to take a break now, go back to the runners, and we'll come back for more interviews in just a little bit. Thank you so much.
We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
So weak, I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. Yo. And underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're shining bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. You're shining bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild.
Welcome back, everyone. Vinny Sinisi here live from the Woodlands Marathon, and guess who I got with me? The music stopped just in time. Debbie Sukin, right?
That's exactly right.
For the Houston Methodist, the Woodlands Hospital.
Exactly.
I gotta get that right. I only say it 800 times when we do the football game.
Hey, it's all good.
202 today?
202 today.
Woohoo!
Pretty excited. I'm always excited just to finish.
Tell us about the evolution of the Woodlands branch of Houston Methodist.
Well, you know, we actually broke ground on Houston Methodist, the Woodlands Hospital, in 2014. We opened the doors of the hospital July 2017. We've now been open 19 months, and we couldn't be more proud to really serve this community as well as all of North Houston. And today is just a great example where it's not just about what we do on our hospital campus, but it's about our involvement in the community. And I'll tell you, it's so much fun, as for me, who lives here in the Woodlands, also a runner, for us to sponsor the half marathon and know that all along the race course we were supported by our medical personnel. That level of confidence is just, I have to tell you, for the runners out here, is always a good feeling. I'll also say it's always a good feeling when you set out a goal and you achieve it, and you achieve it for yourself. And I know that every single runner on this course today is feeling good.
You know, it's not just runners, it's every business entity in the world. If you set a goal and you really intend on meeting that goal, you'll probably reach it. Do you write down your goals?
No, I don't have to write down my goals because I don't have enough time. But other than that, all kidding aside, I just feel really fortunate. You know, I want to just make sure that today we also thank all of the incredible volunteers who put something on. The spectators of the Woodlands are amazing. It's what also makes this race so much fun.
How long have you been in the Woodlands?
I've been in the Woodlands almost 20 years, and I've just had the pleasure of both not only working here, living here, playing here, and just being a great part of the growth and development of this community.
It's a one-stop shop right here.
It is.
That venue behind us, the pavilion, that's the
Amazing.
#1 outdoor pavilion in the whole United States, right?
Exactly.
We have, now when my oldest son was born in 1981, no hospital here, okay? When my younger son was born in 84, no hospital here. My daughter was born in what is now a big hospital.
It is.
My wife had the baby, we're like, all right, time to get out. We only got like 3 beds, so we got people moving in, so.
Well, I think that just says something about the community. And again, Houston Methodist could not be more proud to serve this community. We are going to continue to grow and expand as, quite frankly, the demand continues and as the sophistication of this community continues to grow.
How big is the Methodist Hospital now in the Woodlands?
You know, today we're almost 200 beds. We have 15 operating rooms, and again, we are ready to launch our additional phase as we continue to meet the demands of the community.
A lot of babies being born. A couple of my good friends just had babies almost a month apart in the last 6 months.
We deliver a lot of babies, and we're proud to be able to not only serve those that have the miracle of life and the beginning of life, and then obviously being able to support those all throughout the continuation.
So do you run for therapy, relieve a little stress?
Yeah, I do all of those things, but I'll tell you the most important thing is I run because I can, and I think that's really important. I feel as though we've been blessed with, honestly, to be able to run, and I have 2 boys who are special needs, and my oldest son did not walk till he was 6.
Wow.
And I think how incredible it is that I'm able to do it and do it for him.
Well, you know, we actually not only have the half marathon and the marathon, we have the hand cyclists for people that can't run, right?
We do, and you probably also Ainsley Angels, who is also out there. I can so appreciate the spirit and just the momentum of what that means for the runners who are pushing those individuals. Again, it's as much their run as it is our run, and I think it's awesome.
It's funny you mentioned the Angels. I MC the Conroe Beer 5K or whatever it was a couple weeks ago, and they were there. All wrapped up and ready to go. Here
Absolutely,
we go.
absolutely. It's running is just such an important part, I think. And again, as I was running today, there's not a run that I don't do that I don't think I run because I can, and I run for truly for just the inspiration of others.
Very cool. What's on the horizon for the hospital? I know it's brand new,
yep,
but I know you have a lot of plans for future
Yeah,
growth.
I mean, you know, our mission is to be unparalleled, truly in safety, quality, service, and innovation. And we will continue to grow and expand all of our service lines, whether it's neuroscience.
All right, we are here with Online finishing marathon, and the full marathon winner is joining us. What is your name and what was your time today?
I ran 2:29. My name is Ryan Parrish. I'm from Fulshire, Texas.
Well, we're happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So when was the last time you ran a marathon? We know this wasn't your first.
Yeah, I ran CIM back in December. And, you know, I knew that my training was going well, and so it's just progressed since then, so I was real happy about today.
That's wonderful. So was this a personal best for you today?
Yeah, it was a personal best by about 2.5 minutes, so real happy with that.
That's very exciting. What was your strategy or approach to your run today?
You know, I wanted to run really, really consistent, right around 5:35, 5:40 splits. And I hit that, so right at the half marathon I was about just under an hour and 15, so it puts me right on pace for a sub 2:30 marathon.
How long have you been training for marathons?
You know, not long. I ran in college about 20 years ago, and then I started getting back into it about 2 years ago, and so it's become a big part of my life now, and I'll keep it going, see where it takes me from here.
So you're going to do any celebration tonight?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to do any celebrating tonight?
Oh, yeah. I'm real happy. I love that it's on a Saturday, so I don't have to go back to work tomorrow, so I got the whole weekend to relax and enjoy with my family.
Was your family here to see you at the finish line?
Yep. My wife and then my two twin boys, Caleb and Eli, so it was pretty exciting.
They knew you would win too, didn't they?
They were cheering for me, and we knew that there was a potential, and I'm glad I was able to pull it off.
Didn't let them down.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's correct.
So what will be your next run from here? Any other plans?
I'll probably take a little bit of time off, just kind of recuperate, and then I'll start working on some shorter speed work, you know, 5Ks and 10Ks over the next few months before it gets too hot here in Texas.
Yes, absolutely. Will we see you here again at the Woodlands Marathon in the future?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a beautiful course, beautiful day. The race director helped me a lot with my water bottles, and so everything really ran perfect, so I was real happy, and I'll definitely be back.
Well, everyone's happy for you. Thank you for joining us, and we will take a break and then be right back with other doctors. Alex Davis is an orthopedic surgeon for the Houston Methodist, the Woodlands Hospital. You specialize in foot and ankle procedures. And of course, the feet are very important to running. So we've already talked to Dr. LeBay earlier about getting those right shoes, because we got to take care of our feet. It starts with your shoes. What should runners consider when they're out shoe shopping?
Yeah, I think that, like you said, shoe wear is probably the most important part of that. Usually what I recommend patients to do for shoe wear is to really first start with the right fit. So going to the shoe store, a specialty shoe store, at the end of the day or at the end of a workout when your feet are the largest is probably the best. Always trying to get an accurate measurement. And then working with the consultant, the assistant at the store, to kind of understand what your goals are. If you're just solely running, then getting a good shoe that has a good heel cushion, a solid sole, and then that can also manage the wear and tear of the running that you demand. You can always modify shoes using different heel cups or metatarsal pads or orthotics, and so having a shoe that can accommodate that as well is very good.
That's good advice. What can people do to prevent foot injuries when they're training?
I think the best thing is to have a measured and methodical training regimen. Like understanding like your fitness capabilities, understanding your demands that you're going to place. So starting out with a good stretching, strengthening, and conditioning program. I think that's most important. Monitoring the mileage and the impact activities that you do during the training process. Just to listen to your feet, understand that if your feet hurt one day, you have to kind of relax or do something that doesn't put as much wear and tear on the feet.
So let's say a runner's trained and they're out there on the course, and then there's pain. What should they do if they start experiencing pain during the race?
Yeah, during a race, the first thing is to assess to see if you can finish, if it's something that is a one-time singular type of pain or a twinge. And then if you can feel like you can complete the race, then it's always great, a mental boost to finish the activity or the race. But if the pain is continuing to progress where each step is more painful, then you probably should stop that activity and then give a period of rest. Usually what I recommend, if you're not, you don't want to pay for a workout, so you don't want to be so painful the next day where you can't walk or you can't do your activities. So making sure that whatever you experience is only for 24, maybe 72 hours, but after that, then you probably should seek medical care.
Okay. So after a race, what can you do to care for your feet?
The best thing to do is to relax and stay off of it. You've put on several thousand miles during the course of the race, and so icing, making sure that you stretch the feet, the calf muscle, the heel cord, all of those things, or the plantar fascia, all of those things are good. If you have a good friend who can give a massage, or even just taking like a hard a ball, like a lacrosse ball or tennis ball to massage the feet, can really help drive the fluid out. And then just in the days afterwards, using like cross-training methods to keep your fitness level up, but then also limit the impact on your feet.
That makes sense. Well, good advice for our feet. We're going to take a break now and come back. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Davis.
Thank you.
Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and sound.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now we get to the meat of the doctors, the knee guys. Dr. John Fackler, orthopedic surgeon at Houston Methodist, the Woodlands Hospital, of course, the sponsor of the half marathon today. Dr. John specializes in knee injuries or preventing them.
Yeah, general orthopedics. So I see the breadth of orthopedics, you know, everything from little kids to the elderly population and everything in between. So we see athletes, we see workers, we see injuries, we see overuse injuries, and we cover the whole range of orthopedics.
So are knees the number one injury for like marathon runners and just runners in general? Is that the joint that takes the most?
So knees and feet, you know, one of my colleagues, the foot and ankle surgeon, just spoke, and he's probably a little more popular at marathon time. But the knees are sore too, so you know they take the brunt of the force. So.
Right. So how do people prepare them, and what should they do?
So when we look at how to train up for a marathon, regarding your knees at least, the shoe wear is the important thing, both for the foot and the knee. Really? You know, we really have to have good shoe wear. So that's the most important thing to think about leading up to the race. Also, what some people forget is the conditioning program should include strength training. So the hips and the core are a really important part of training for a marathon. You think, you know, we all think about our times and our pace and all that, but really doing some kind of strength training is really important to protect your knees.
You know, I spoke earlier of when I ran a half marathon 8 years ago, the Houston Marathon, and my neighbor just said, hey, let's go out and run a half marathon. I'm like, why? It'll be fun. Okay, let's do it. So we went out and ran, and we would run like 5 or 6 times a week, and it was just beating us up. And I talked to a friend of mine that trained the Minnesota Vikings for 17 years. He said, you got to do strength training. He said, you got to strengthen all the muscles around your knees plus the core, your hips, and
really
everything. Once I did that, I wanted to run it in less than 2.5 hours. I finished at 2:25, and it was really all about the conditioning. And then, of course, we spoke earlier with Alicia about the hydration and things of that nature. Right. So, stretching.
Stretching's important. You know, stretching's a key part of any kind of training regimen. And then ramping up, you know, in your ramp up, some people get, you know, zealous in their training program and overtrain, leads to injuries, and then your training has to backtrack. So that's another thing to think about. Basically, the core, the really thing that people forget though is that core strength. You know, you really need the core for your running program to be successful.
You know, a lot of runners feel pain
right
after 13 miles or 26 miles. Is there a true indicator just to say shut it down, stop, or you just have to listen to your own body, or how's that work, Doc?
So obviously pain's different for every person, right? So, and there's a breadth of runners in this race, everywhere from seasoned runners to beginning runners. So the first thing when you're assessing pain is to kind of figure out your level of athleticism in the first place. So, because obviously someone who runs marathons all the time is going to have different levels of pain from someone who's a beginner.
Sure.
And you can expect overall pain, right? The whole body's going to hurt when we're running. But specific things to look for when there's something more serious is a pain that doesn't go away when you rest, right? I mean, normally your body hurts when you're running, you rest it, and it heals and recovers. If something doesn't go away, that's concerning. When you're out on the course, you have to worry about, okay, if you're limping, you know, if you have something that's asymmetrical. But if everything's kind of hurting, okay, that's probably pretty normal.
Really?
But if you have one area hurting, you're limping.
My whole body hurts, including my hair.
You start walking, you reach down and touch that spot, and it's killing you to touch, that's probably pretty concerning.
Any kind of nutrition, or I see a lot of the runners wearing compression socks and that kind of thing.
There's been a lot of work done on compression. It changes the blood flow patterns, mostly in your calves. And we don't know really how much difference that makes in preventing injury, but it certainly seems to help the blood flow and help recovery.
You know, I talked to you before we came up on stage about me pulling a muscle just from walking. I was like, what is going on? I guess I'm knocking on heaven's door here. So, all right, so after the race, what do you suggest? I mean, obviously, when I was running, I would just jump in my pool 55 degrees, and it was horrible the first 10 seconds, but after that it was like, wow, ice bath, right?
And now we have cryo chambers. You can go pay somebody to sit in a cryo chamber and freeze. But more importantly is hydration. You know, when you run a race, especially a day like today, the humidity's high. Really get the hydration recovery going. Stretching is important after the race, and then your knees are going to be swollen. So the key is the RICE therapy. You know, rest, ice, compression, and elevation.
Get them up in the air, right?
Yeah, get them up.
Great. So, how do people get in touch with you over at the main building?
So we're at the Houston Methodist Orthopedic Center on the second floor next to the hospital.
Okay, great.
And we have a great group of orthopedic surgeons and sports medicine doctors. We work very closely with Houston Methodist, and it's obviously a growing population here. And Houston Methodist has just done fantastic things for this environment.
Go see John, Dr. John Fackler. Brian, College Station boy, went to UT for undergrad and then Texas Tech, right? Yep. But he says he's a Longhorn, so hope that doesn't help. He's covered it all. Brian, College Station, that's Aggie land.
I got them all covered.
All right, wait, stay with us. We'll be right back.
town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Well, Woodlands Online is once again here with Houston Methodist. We have Chris Bassa, physical therapist at the Houston Methodist, and he's going to help us with some questions, our risk of injury. What would you say is the aspect warm-up process for a race?
Important component to performance and injury prevention is preparation, right? Prior to starting your training program, you want to be able to identify any weaknesses that you may have and be able to address them so you're able to run more efficiently. Many people spend countless hours sitting all day at work, and they create these issues, and when they get home to train, it kind of hinders their performance. And so that's what's most important, is kind of getting the preparation, seeing what's most, what your needs are to be able to perform the best.
Preparation is key. So what common mistakes do you see people making as they prepare for a race?
The most common mistake that I usually see as a sports physical therapist is the way they warm up, right? We all train the same way that we were taught when we were younger. When warming up, you should be doing dynamic movement, which means including movement, right? Versus static stretching, which is the usual bend over, touch your toes, hold it, right? Doing a more dynamic movement has shown to improve performance and boost your performance output. So that's just what I see usually in the clinic, is a proper warm-up. And so my suggestion would be stop bending over and touching your toes and just move. Just move.
Sounds good. So what would you recommend for individuals who they're feeling inspired? This is inspirational to be here. They want to participate, yet they're having pain or injuries that they're dealing with. What are your recommendations for them to participate?
Don't let your old injuries or pain hinder you from reaching your goals. Houston Methodist of Woodlands is leading the way in orthopedics and sports medicine. We have many expert clinicians that are able to help identify those weaknesses, those movement impairments, gait analysis, to kind of see what you're lacking, and we're there to support you to kind of reach your goal, whatever it is, whether it be reach a PR or just complete a marathon. All right.
Yep, that sounds like good advice. We definitely want to keep that in mind and reach our goals, and Houston Methodist is here to help us. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to take a break. We'll be back. Thank you very much.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Vinny Sinisi here, live from the Woodlands Marathon. And we have the women's winner, Nicole Bitter, a native of Phoenix, but that's not true.
Yeah, so I guess I consider myself more of a Texas native at this point.
Go Texas! So
yeah.
Chicago to Dallas to Houston to Phoenix, law school.
Yeah, so I grew up in Chicago and I moved to Texas originally in 2005. I went to Baylor for law school, moved to Houston for a year, and then ended up in Dallas until 2018. And I just moved to Phoenix a year ago.
And you'd love to move back here?
I would. I like Texas. I tell my husband all the time that I think we'll end up back here.
Well, when you move back here,
yeah,
give me a shout.
Get here.
Awesome. So you broke the 3-hour mark, 58 and some change. Challenging today?
Yeah, it was a challenging course. The humidity, the Texas weather's always a little tough, and it was kind of hilly, so not too bad, but I had run a marathon about 3 weeks ago, so I was a little beat up, but for me it was good. It was a good run.
Any big obstacles?
No, I mean, just tried to feel strong the whole race and felt pretty good.
How long you been running?
Oh, forever. Since I was in 7th grade. Got cut from the basketball team, and they
all
said...
21 years?
Yeah, I wish. Going on, I'm 36, so...
Okay, she told you 36. Married, so don't be giving her any calls or creeping on her or anything. So, heading back to Phoenix?
Yes, today.
You are?
Yeah.
Have you been here a few days? Or?
No, just a day. We flew in yesterday, so just to run. Yeah, my husband ran the half, and he got 5th, I think. He ran a 1:10.
Nice.
I know, he's the speedy one, so
$1,250 for the winner.
Oh, wow, I didn't even know.
I think that's true, yeah.
So we made prize money.
That's pretty good work.
Yeah.
That's probably
I didn't even
less
know.
than what you make being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Although all the training, it probably comes to under $1 an hour, right?
Yeah. I just do it because I like it. It's fun.
What makes you so fast, though? I mean, you won.
No, I don't know. I mean, there's so many speedy girls out there. My husband and I train mostly for really long distances, like the 100-mile races.
Out there in the desert.
The trails and things.
Yeah, very cool. So what's next?
I'm doing Western States with a 100-mile race in California. And then we're doing a race called the Spartathlon in Greece.
In Greece?
Yeah.
When are you going?
In September.
Oh, good. We're going in June.
Oh, it's great. I'm Greek, so my family all lives there.
I'm Italian.
Oh, nice.
Right next door. There's two kinds of people.
I mean,
people that are Italian and people that want to be.
Yeah. I like the Greeks, but...
All right, Nicole Bitter, our winner, 358 and whatever.
I don't know.
Just call it
358.
Good. She wins a couple of bucks. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
now joined by Willie Folks, race director for the Woodlands Marathon. How many years have you done this, Willie?
This is the 8th year. We brought it back in 2012, and this is the 8th annual Fidelity Investments, the Woodlands Marathon.
Well, 8 years, that's a good track record. But I read 1979 was the first marathon here in the Woodlands.
Yeah, 79, it went from 79 to 93. And then it went on a little hiatus there, and then we resurrected it in 2012.
Well, it looks like the community is very glad that you did so. How many runners, do you have an exact total for us today?
Well, we had 5,500 plus registered. So we had about 500 in the relay, 4,000 in the half marathon, and about 1,200 in the marathon.
Okay. And how many countries were those represented in those numbers?
We had 10 countries represented, and we had 43 states represented.
Wow. So definitely a big event, big draw from all over. And I've been told there's a charity element to the marathon as well. Can you tell us about the charity element?
The Beck and Masson Charity Challenge, we just raised over $100,000 this year, and the Woodlands Marathon Management creates a prize purse with that charity challenge. This year, we'll donate an additional $12,500 to those top fundraisers and the charities. And so to date, in 8 years, we've raised about $1.3 million.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate all that you're doing, and the community is glad that this is an annual event here. And we're going to take a break. Thank you very much for joining us.
My own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Take my eyes open to false reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Some days I can't tell if my body heart so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hold your breath and feel the tension.
don't let me drown.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to wrap it up for us here at the Woodlands Marathon, live from the waterway in the Woodlands.